Ethan stood before our 300 guests on the very night of our 5th engagement anniversary and said, "Vivian's back. Let's break up." He thought I'd cry, make Chase scene, beg. He had no idea I'd been waiting 2 whole years for this moment. "Serena, how long are you going to keep playing dumb?" Ethan's face was ice, impeccable in his tux, eyes flickering with chaste disgust I'd never seen. I set the crystal flute on the console and turned slowly. Downstairs, 300 guests were waiting for the couple of the hour. "Play dumb about what?" I asked sweetly. "Pretend I don't know your first love Vivian flew in yesterday? Or pretend I don't know you spent last night with her at the peninsula?" His complexion drained. "You tail me." "No need." I fished Chase glossy print from my clutch and tossed it onto the coffee table. 10 grand to Chase paparazzo. Chase bargain, Sterling Air's privacy, one-night special. The shot. Ethan's arm hooked around Chase's long-haired woman's waist, their bodies welded at the hip outside the hotel. "Serena, let me explain." "Explain what?" I cut in, strolling to the floor-to-ceiling window. "That the girl you loved for 7 years finally came home? That you can finally cut loose the deadweight fiancé." Chase beat of silence, then the words I'd rehearsed for him. "Since you already know, I'll stop pretending. Vivian's back. We're getting back together. So we're done. I've had my assistant tell the guests you're under the weather. The dinner's off." I pivoted, studying the man who, 3 years ago, had pursued me for Chase full year, who, 2 years ago, rented the penthouse of the city's priciest hotel and declared me the only woman he would ever marry. Now he wanted to dump me, because first love had returned. "Ethan," I said, using his full name, "did it occur to you I might not agree?" He blinked, then smirked. "Disagree all you want. You can't force feelings. And you know the Sterlings need Chase pedigree like Vivian's, not some orphanage stray. You didn't say it, but you thought it." I headed for the door. "See you downstairs." He caught my wrist. "What are you planning?" I freed myself and smoothed the silk skirt. "Telling everyone we're over. Isn't that the polite thing? They came for our anniversary after all." "Serena," his voice cracked with warning. "Don't make Chase scene." "Me? I never make scenes. I'm famously reasonable." The corridor swallowed his hurried footsteps as the door swung shut. Inside the elevator, he asked through clenched teeth, "What do you want?" "Simple. I want the world to know exactly what kind of man the Sterling Crown Prince is." The doors parted. The ballroom fell silent, every gaze snapping toward us. "Thank you all for coming tonight," I said, accepting the handheld mic, voice gliding across crystal chandeliers. "I have an announcement." Whispers rippled. Ethan stood rigid beside me. "Ethan has something to share about our future." I offered him the mic, smile dazzling. He hesitated, calculating. Chase public breakup would bruise the Sterling brand. Silence risked whatever bomb I might drop next. "Tonight," he began. "Thank you for celebrating with us. Serena isn't feeling well, so—" "I feel wonderful," I interrupted, reclaiming the mic. "Ethan, did you forget the important part? The part about Vivian?" Gasps ignited like sparklers. Vivian's name was legend in this crowd. Ethan's college sweetheart who vanished overseas 3 years ago. "For example," I continued, "Hawthorne returned yesterday. They rekindled old flames at the peninsula last night. Therefore, the Sterling Air is kindly dumping me tonight." Flashbulbs detonated, reporters surged. "Questions?" "I've got all evening," Chase reporter shouted. "Vance, how do you view Sterling's betrayal?" "Betrayal's Chase's strong word. We're only engaged, not married. Everyone deserves the right to chase true love. Your next move." Naturally, I'll step aside gracefully. "But compensation for 5 years of investment seems fair." I raised the engagement contract, thick ivory pages flipped open for the cameras. Clause 7B. If Chase third party ends the engagement, Sterling owes $50 million. The room erupted. Ethan's face cycled through every shade of gray. "Money aside," I said, snapping the folder shut, "I only ask that Sterling be honest with everyone who's supported us. So Ethan, tell us, are you leaving me for Vivian?" Hundreds of eyes bored into him. Lenses zoomed. His voice came out hoarse. "Yes, I'm breaking up with Serena. Because the woman I love has come back." Chase beat of stunned silence, then pandemonium. I set the mic down and applauded softly. "Perfect. That's the honesty I wanted." He lunged, whisper hissing. "Have you lost your mind? What do you gain from this?" "Credibility. Now the world knows what you are." "Serena." He grabbed. I sidestepped, heels clicking toward the side exit. "Interview hour is over, folks. Enjoy dinner on me." Outside, late spring air tasted of river salt and victory. I dialed. Julian. Serena? What's up? Greenlight the package. Starting tomorrow, every Sterling project stubs its toe. Copy. And Ethan. He'll come crawling, ignore him. Back in my apartment, I wiped off the false lashes, swapped the couture for cashmere. The phone buzzed 15 times before I answered. Serena, where are you? We have to talk. Talk about what? We're broken up, remember? What you pulled was vicious. You have no idea what the headlines look like. Not my circus. Good night. Wait. I can explain. I mishandled things, but you know me. I never meant to hurt you. Cute. Anyway, see Zoe tomorrow. 50 million breach penalty. That's extortion. Contract law, actually. Sleep tight, Ethan. Tomorrow's stock graph should be entertaining. I hung up, set the phone face down, and poured myself Chase's quiet glass of water. Game on. The phone rang again. I powered it off. After I washed up, I lay in bed and watched the city lights slide across the ceiling. 2 years ago, I already knew Vivian would come back. 2 years ago, I started rehearsing for today. Ethan thinks he knows me. He knows nothing. He doesn't know who I really am, doesn't know what I really want, doesn't know why I walked into his life in the first place. He thinks I'm just an ordinary girl from St. Monica's who hit the jackpot the day I met him. He's wrong. Meeting me is the worst thing that ever happened to him. At 7 the next morning, the ringing dragged me awake. When the screen lit, there were 99 missed calls, all from Ethan. Dozens of texts followed the same arc. Fury, pleading, threats, groveling. I answered none of them. I showered, zipped into Chase-tailored suit, and smoothed my hair in the mirror. Big day. The elevator doors opened to Ethan's car idling at the curb. He leaned against the driver's door, jacket rumpled, eyes hollow. He'd clearly been up all night. Serena. He stepped forward the instant he saw me. We need to talk. Nothing to talk about. I headed for the street to flag Chase cab. He blocked me. Listen to me. I thought it through last night. What we have shouldn't end like this. Oh! I paused. The great CEO Sterling had Chase change of heart. I won't lie, Vivian coming back shook me. But these 5 years were real. I can't trash everything because of an impulse. I studied his earnest face and laughed. So you want the two of us option? Or Chase friendly menage? His color drained. That isn't what I meant. Then spell it out. I folded my arms against his car. Chase fair contest between me and Vivian? Harmonious coexistence. Serena, don't twist my words. He frowned. I just don't want us to break up over Chase misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? I echoed. You spent the night with Vivian at the peninsula. Also Chase misunderstanding. Silence. Didn't think so. I brushed past him. Then we're done here. I'll pay the 50 million breach penalty, he called after me. But no public apology. I stopped. Why not? The Sterlings can't bow in public. That's non-negotiable. Principles, huh? I turned back. And publicly dumping your fiancé. What principle is that? He had no answer. I slid into the cab I'd flagged. Before I shut the door, I said, 1 hour, CEO Sterling. If I don't see you and Vivian in front of Sterling by 10, the price stops being 50 million. The door slammed. In the mirror, he stood frozen, face dark as thunder. At Zhang, associates my counsel Zoe was already waiting. Vance, last night was exquisite. Zoe, brisk and 40-something, pushed Chase tablet across the conference table. The clips everywhere. How's the tide? Running your way. Netizens are branding him scum and singing your grief. She handed me Chase coffee. Sterling's spin team is mobilizing, so expect pushback. Doesn't matter. I sipped. Today's agenda. 9:30 we receive an anonymous tip. Sterling cooked the books on Southridge. We file for regulatory probe on behalf of burned investors. By the book, all sunshine and subpoenas. Perfect. I nodded. Keep it legal. We're the good guys. Zoe grinned. In 20 years of scorched earth litigation, I've never seen Chase chessboard this tidy. It's not revenge, I corrected. It's self-defense. At 9:30 the dossier landed. Zoe leafed through, satisfied. Hard evidence. Sterling's looking at Chase death spiral. We're not at the finale yet. I glanced at my watch. Curtain rises at 10. At 10 sharp I stepped onto the plaza outside Sterling. Reporters and onlookers formed Chase restless ring, hungry for blood. 10:05, Ethan's sedan rolled up. He climbed out alone, face the color of wet cement. Where's Vivian? I walked toward him. Solo performance. She's not coming, he said icily. And I'm not apologizing. Pity. I pivoted to the press pack. Friends, CEO Sterling refuses to say sorry for last night's spectacle. Seems the Sterling family handbook skips accountability. Microphones and lenses swung to him like magnetized steel. CO Sterling, why won't you apologize? Do you think you did anything wrong? Any comment on the online backlash? He was swallowed by the swarm, color draining with each flash. My phone vibrated. Vance, Zoe said. The regulators just opened Chase formal probe into Southridge. The press release drops in 5. I hung up and studied the caged man. Fear flickered in his eyes for the first time. Ladies and gentlemen, I called, clapping for attention. Breaking news. Sterling is under investigation for Southridge irregularities. As an injured investor, I'll cooperate fully and reserve all rights. The plaza detonated. Reporters spun back to Ethan, shutters firing like automatic weapons. He stammered denials, but panic had already cracked his voice. I gave him Chase's parting smile and walked away. Behind me, chaos, shouted questions, Ethan's hoarse rebuttals, the city's gossip engine revving into redline. None of it concerned me. My revenge had only just begun. I left Sterling and headed straight to an upscale cafe. In Chase's private booth, an elegant woman waited. Vivian, the so-called grande dame sweetheart who had flown in yesterday, the white moonlight of Ethan's memory. Vance, I've heard so much. She rose, hand extended, smile flawless. I ignored the hand in Saturday. Skip the etiquette, Vivian. Why am I here? Her smile twitched, then steadied. I thought we should discuss Ethan. Discuss what? How you crawled into bed with him, or how you spent the night strategizing at the peninsula. Color touched her cheeks, but she kept her poise. You've misunderstood. There's nothing between Ethan and me now. Nothing. I lifted Chase's brow. Then why the sleepover? Chess tournament. We only talked, she said. I've been abroad for years. Ethan, as an old friend, brought me up to speed. Sweetheart, do I look 3 years old? I know you're angry, but that's the truth. Her tone stayed level. We were first love, yes, ancient history. I didn't return to wreck anyone's engagement. Then why did you? She hesitated. My father is terminally ill. I came home to care for him. Touching. I drummed the menu. So why did Ethan dump me last night? That, maybe you misread? Misread. I leaned in. He told 300 guests he was cutting me loose because the woman he loves is back. Quote him verbatim. The woman I love has returned. Who exactly is that woman? Silence pooled between us. Finally she lifted her gaze. Vance, I never expected him to say that. When I landed, I didn't even know he was engaged. Now you do. Now I do. Your move. Complex shadows crossed her face. I'll leave. Leave. I blinked. For where? Back to the States. Her voice was soft. I shouldn't be in your lives. I studied her, hunting for guile. You're sure? Positive. She nodded. I've booked tomorrow's flight. Ethan, no. I'll tell him. I settled against the banquette, mind already recalibrating. If Vivian vanished, my script would need Chase rewrite. Mind if I ask you something, Vivian? Please. Why did you two really split? She blinked. What do you mean? 3 years ago you broke up and flew out. Ethan never mentioned you. The instant you reappear, he's ready to toss me aside. That's not ordinary ex behavior. Her pallor deepened. Vance, you're frighteningly sharp. So give me the rest of the story. She stared out the window, throat working. We didn't separate because we stopped loving each other. I was pregnant. My pulse kicked. And miscarriage. The word barely carried. 3 months in, Chase car crash. The baby didn't make it. I almost didn't either. Ethan, no. He knew about the pregnancy, not the loss. Chase's sad smile ghosted across her lips. I was airlifted to O.S. hospital. He assumed I left because I didn't want the child. The puzzle locked into place. So you came back to tell him? Yes. She met my gaze, luminous with tears. With my father dying, I realized some words wait too long and fossilize inside you. Have you said them now? Last night. I told him everything. No wonder Ethan had imploded on stage. Chase man learning he'd abandoned the mother of his unborn child. Guilt like that would drop Chase Cathedral on your shoulders. So you're leaving now? Yes. Vivian dabbed the corners of her eyes. I've said everything I came to say. No regrets. Ethan has his own life. I shouldn't disturb it any longer. I studied the woman in front of me and suddenly wondered if I'd misjudged her. She wasn't the vicious home wrecker I'd painted her to be. Hawthorne, may I ask one more question? Go ahead. If Ethan begged you to stay, would you? Vivian hesitated, then shook her head. No. Feelings can't be rewound, and besides, I have no wish to wreck anyone else's happiness. I gave Chase a small nod and stood to leave. Vance. Vivian stopped me. Will you forgive Ethan? I looked back. What do you think? I think he's very sorry. Sorry. I laughed softly. Hawthorne, Chase man's regret is the cheapest commodity on earth. I walked out of Blue without looking back. Outside, I pulled out my phone and speed dialed. Julian, change of plan. Vivian flies tomorrow. Do we still proceed? Absolutely. I stared at the neon river in the distance. But we recalibrate. Since Ethan loves Vivian so much, let's give him exactly that. Meaning, I want him to lose her completely. Back at my building, I found Ethan waiting again. This time flanked by the Sterling family's old steward, Uncle Zhang. The moment I stepped out of the car, Zhang hurried over. Serena, the patriarch requests your presence. His bow was deferential. Certain matters must be discussed face to face. I glanced at Ethan. His complexion was grayer than this morning. Theodore wanted to see me? That was unexpected. Yes, Zhang confirmed. Please, the car is ready. I hesitated, then climbed in. The Sterling estate sprawled on the city's outer rim, all polished pavilions and Ming-inspired gardens. We halted before the main hall. Zhang ushered us into Chase's drawing room fragrant with sandalwood. Theodore too sat in an ebony armchair, 80-plus years etched into the lines around his hawk-bright eyes. Grandfather. Ethan stepped forward. The old man dipped his chin, then beckoned me. Serena, girl, sit. I settled opposite him. Child last night reached my ears. His voice was mild, almost soothing. Ethan behaved disgracefully. Grandfather, Ethan began. Silence. The single word cracked like Chase whip. Let your elders speak first. Ethan's mouth snapped shut. Serena, these 5 years you've given much to the Sterling name. This brat wounded you. That debt is ours. You're too kind, sir. I replied evenly. Affection can't be coerced. True, yet debts must be paid. Theodore swiveled toward Ethan. Well, how do you intend to make amends? I'll honor the engagement contract, pay the 50 million breach penalty, Ethan muttered. Only money. Theodore's tone frosted over. You still think cash cures everything? Ethan had no answer. Theodore returned to me. Name your price, child. I considered. Chase public apology. Equal to the public humiliation. Nothing more, nothing less. Theodore nodded. Sensible. Ethan heard that. Grandfather, Chase private apology, yes, but public. Reputation? Theodore cut in, eyes blazing. You severed Chase 5-year engagement in front of cameras. Where was our reputation then? Ethan wilted. It's settled, Theodore decreed. Tomorrow, 9:30, you and that Vivian girl apologize on the Sterling Plaza. No negotiation. But grandfather, Vivian. Still defending her? The patriarch's stare could have sliced steel. You're heir to Sterling, not some lovesick teenager. Your conduct is the brand. Ethan's shoulders sagged. Serena, satisfied? Theodore asked. Perfectly, sir. Good. Zhang, escort Vance home. Ethan, stay. We chat. It was 9 p.m. when the gates faded behind me. In the car I texted Julian. Tomorrow's apology on. Prep plan B. His reply popped instantly. Already swapped Vivian's ticket. New flight 2 p.m. tomorrow. Good. By the time Ethan stepped off that stage, Vivian would be Chase contrail over the Atlantic. Back in my apartment I showered, slipped into silk pajamas, and was reaching for the lights when the doorbell rang. Through the peephole, Ethan alone. I didn't open. Serena, I know you're there. Please, 5 minutes. Silence. I've spoken with Vivian. She'll stand with me tomorrow. What else do you need, name it? I moved to the door. Your love included. Chase, hush then. Feelings aren't switches. Exactly. Save your breath. I leaned against the jamb. Tell me, do you still love her? Beat. Yes. But what we had wasn't fake, Serena. Define what we had, then. We were optimal partners, shared vision, complementary assets. Together we could've. Sounded like Chase's quarterly report. I cut him off. When you dumped me on livestream, where was the mutual respect? While you sneaked around with Vivian, where was the mutual support? You wanted Chase-compliant Sterling, not Chase partner. Silence again. Go home, Ethan. Beauty sleep before your big apology. I walked away. From the bedroom window I watched him linger beneath the street lamp, engine idling, until finally he drove into the dark. Next morning, 9:30 sharp, I reached Sterling Plaza. Reporters ringed the fountain. Lenses glinted like drawn weapons. 9:50 Chase.m. Ethan's Maybach coasted to the curb. Only one door opened. Sterling, where's Hawthorne? Chase reporter shouted. Ethan pushed through, face ashen. She won't be coming. Why? She flew back to the States this morning, wheels up at dawn. He stared at me. Did you engineer this? I lifted Chase's brow. I book other people's flights now. He knew Vivian, impulsive, proud, well enough to believe she'd simply vanished. Since Hawthorne is absent, I announced to the press, Sterling will apologize alone. Microphones surged. Sterling, any comment on last night? Will you apologize for cutting loose your fiancé? How do you feel about Vivian's departure? Flashbulbs detonated. Ethan looked momentarily lost, then accepted Chase's handheld mic. I wish to apologize to Serena for my conduct yesterday evening. The plaza hushed. Speaking as I did was disrespectful to her and to everyone who supported us. Shutter clicks rippled like hail. I hurt Serena through selfishness and arrogance. I am sorry. He turned to me. Truly sorry. Applause scattered, Chase few jeers rose. Apologies won't buy back 5 years. Once Chase cheater. I took the mic. I accept Sterling's apology, late, but sincere. Yet acceptance doesn't erase damage. Therefore, I faced the cameras. My legal team has filed suit over irregularities in Sterling's Southridge project. We'll see each other in court. I strode to my car while reporters screamed questions behind me. Inside, I speed-dialed Julian. Vivian's airborne, never coming back, he said. Southridge investigation. Officially opened. Sterling stock enters free fall Monday. I closed my eyes, city lights streaking crimson across the glass. Ethan's public kneel was complete. His empire would follow. Only Serena would walk away whole. Wealthier, freer, and very much alive for the next deal. It wasn't over. I watched the Sterling Tower shrink in the rearview mirror. Only the beginning. At 2 p.m. Chase text landed on my phone. From Vivian, Vance, thank you. I know you changed my flight. You were right. Some things really should be let go. May you be happy. I stared at the words, feelings knotting inside me. Vivian was Chase's good woman. She'd simply loved the wrong man. At 4 o'clock Ethan rang. Serena, did you change Vivian's ticket? His voice was raw with fatigue. Yes. No denial. Why? Because I refused to watch you keep hurting her. My tone stayed level. Ethan, you don't deserve her love. What gives you the right to decide that? He snapped. I have every right. I smiled. I'm the victim here. I can protect any woman you might damage next. Serena, he roared. What the hell do you want? I paid, I apologized, what else? Very simple. I rose and walked to the floor-to-ceiling window. I want you sorry, I want you hurting. I want you to learn what loss means. You're insane. Maybe. But Ethan, you snapped first. You dumped your fiancé of 5 years in front of 300 people for the woman who waltzed back into your life. Now taste the fallout. Silence stretched on the line. Finally he whispered. Serena, can't we go back? Go back. I weighed the words. If time reversed, the one thing I'd change is never meeting you. I hung up. Outside, the sun dipped and city lights flickered on. My revenge plan was running perfectly, yet the rush I'd expected never came. Perhaps punishing someone worthless is meaningless in itself. No matter, the game's end was close, and Ethan would pay the real price soon. Next morning, Sterling's stock gapped down 20%. Headlines screamed Southridge violations. Investors dumped shares in droves. From my office, I watched the red candles lengthen, calm, detached. Boss, Ethan's here, my assistant said. Let him in. He pushed through the door, gaunt eyes bloodshot, clearly sleepless. Serena, we need to talk. He stopped at my desk. Talk about what? Your share price? The Southridge investigation. I kept my gaze on the monitor. You know exactly what. He dropped into the chair opposite. All this, somehow you scripted it, didn't you? Evidence. I lifted an eyebrow. Sterling, business requires proof. Got any? Who else could leak Southridge files timed like that? Maybe another injured shareholder. Your violations triggered the probe, blame yourselves. And Vivian's ticket? Hawthorne chose to leave. I merely upgraded her to an earlier flight. Kind of me, no? His fist pounded the desk. Why, Serena? So you learn abandonment. I leaned in. You thought you could cut me loose without cost and chase your true love. You were wrong. You call this revenge? Revenge. I laughed. Call it settling accounts. You hurt me, now you hurt. He sat motionless, then muttered. Fine, I owe you. But Vivian's innocent. Why drag her in? Innocent. My voice iced over. What about me? Was I guilty? I get tossed aside because your first love returned, fair? He hung his head. Now you know unfairness, I said. Losing someone you love tastes bitter, right? What will it take to let me go? His eyes pleaded. Let you go. I pretended to ponder. Possible, one condition. Name it. Kneel. Apologize to my face. I tapped the carpet. Right here, now, on your knees. His face drained of color. You can't be serious. I never joke. Too proud, Crown Prince of Sterling. It isn't pride. Then what? You stripped me of dignity in front of hundreds. Where was my pride? Seconds ticked by. Abruptly he stood. All right. I kneel. Surprise punched my chest as he rounded the desk, lowered himself, and knelt. Serena, I'm sorry, he murmured. I wronged you. Looking down at the man I once loved, emptiness yawned inside me. Was this the summit of vengeance? Making him kneel. Get up. I turned away. You're free, Ethan. He rose unsteadily. Meaning? We're done. Starting today, I'm off your back. Stay out of my life. That's it. That's it. I nodded. Southridge suit withdrawn. Sterling's fate is no longer my concern. What about Vivian? Your mess. Chase her or don't. Up to you. He stared, stunned, then walked out. I felt suddenly exhausted. This war had no victors. Ethan had lost Vivian. I had shed every feeling for him. Vivian would never learn how wildly he'd chase her. 3 p.m. my assistant burst in. Boss, Ethan chartered Chase jet to the States to follow Vivian. I said nothing, just nodded. Isn't that romantic? She sighed. Crossing the ocean for love, like cinema. Romantic? I gave Chase one smile. Ever heard, locking the barn after the horse is stolen? She left, puzzled. I texted Vivian, he's coming. Choice is yours. She replied quickly. Thank you for telling me. Some misses can't be unmissed. I smiled at the screen. True. Some misses stay missed, like Ethan and me. 3 days later he returned, alone. Vivian never let him past arrivals, rumor said. He holed up in New York for 72 empty hours, then slunk home. I was at Chase client dinner when the gossip surfaced. CEO Vance, hear Ethan's back? Didn't catch his moon. Who knows? I sliced my steak. Not my orbit. True. Anyway, my nephew just returned from overseas, single, handsome. Shall I introduce you? Pass, thanks. I set the cutlery down. Romance recess for now. At 9 I drove home, past Sterling Tower, saw the penthouse lights still on his floor. I didn't stop. Back in my apartment, showered and in soft pajamas, I'd barely opened Chase's book when the bell rang. Through the peephole, Ethan, haggard, unshaven, sparkle gone. I hesitated, then opened. What do you want? To talk, he said, voice rough. We're done talking. I started to shut the door. 5 minutes, Serena. Please. I stepped aside. Inside, he glanced around. Nothing had changed since our engagement days. Sit. I motioned to the sofa. He did, silent then. Vivian wouldn't see me. Sent Chase message. Over new life, stay away. Oh. I hurt the one who cared and chased the one who doesn't. Funny, huh? Epiphany timing? Chase bit late. Can't we restart? His eyes shone desperate. I'll change. I studied him and almost laughed. Know what tale I'm remembering? He waited. Chase man owned Chase perfect pearl but craved Chase rumored diamond, so he tossed the pearl. The diamond turned out glass. When he looked for the pearl, someone else had already claimed it. I paused. Pathetic, right? He lowered his head. Yes. If the pearl miraculously returned, would it gleam the same? He met my gaze, pain clear. No, because the pearl would never trust him again. So I stood up. Ethan, some things once lost are lost forever. They can't be taken back with Chase's simple sorry. Ethan stood as well. I understand. He walked to the door, then turned back. Serena, you'll be happy. I know. I nodded. You will be too. Ethan left, this time for good. I knew he would never come back. Our story was truly over. 1 month later, I heard that Ethan had resigned from Sterling and handed control to his uncle. He had gone abroad, saying he wanted to start Chase's new life. Some said he was running away, others called it liberation. Either way, it had nothing to do with me anymore. My life returned to its normal pace, work kept me busy, but my heart felt lighter. When I recalled the past, I felt Chase's twinge of regret, yet mostly release. Some people are destined to be passing travelers in our lives. No matter how deeply we once loved, they end up as memories. And I would live for my future. 6 months later, at Chase business function, I ran into Vivian. She looked more elegant than ever, her eyes holding Chase serenity she hadn't possessed before. Vance, long time no see. Vivian approached me first. Hawthorne, when did you come back? I asked, surprised. Last month, she said with Chase's smile. My father's condition is stable, and I decided to relaunch my career here. We found Chase's quiet corner and sat down to talk. I heard Ethan went abroad. Vivian asked. Yes, 6 months ago. Apparently he opened an investment firm over there. Vivian was silent for Chase's moment. Has he contacted you? No. I shook my head. We've cut all ties. Actually, Vivian hesitated. When he was in the States, he wrote me Chase's letter. Curious, I asked. What did he say? He apologized. Said he'd hurt the two people who mattered most, she answered, her eyes clouded with mixed emotions. He wrote that he would spend his life atoning. I said nothing. Vance, do you hate him? Vivian asked. I considered it. No. Hatred is exhausting and pointless. Do you regret meeting him? Not at all. Without him I might never have discovered my own strength. Vivian nodded. You're right. Painful as it was, it helped us grow. What about you? I asked. Any regrets about coming home? None. She smiled. I've let go. The past is past, it's time for Chase's fresh start. We talked for hours until the event ended. As we parted, Vivian said, Thank you, Vance, for telling me to leave back then. Without that, I might have made the wrong choice. Everyone has the right to choose their life, I replied. The key is not to wrong yourself for someone else's sake. Exactly. She nodded. May we both find our own happiness. Watching her walk away, I felt Chase's quiet satisfaction. At least the three of us were moving forward. Ethan was searching for Chase's new beginning overseas. Vivian was rebuilding her career here. And I was stepping out of the shadows. Perhaps that was the best ending possible. Chase year later, at Chase's friend's wedding, I unexpectedly received Chase's letter postmarked from abroad. It was from Ethan. The note was brief. Serena, I heard you're doing well. Glad to hear it. Life here keeps me busy and calm, and I think I've finally learned what it means to cherish. We can't return to the past, but I want you to know, meeting you was the luckiest thing that ever happened to me. Be happy. Ethan, I felt no emotional upheaval after reading it. He had finally grasped the idea of valuing someone, only the someone was no longer me. I tucked the letter away and rejoined the celebration. Watching the bride and groom exchange rings, I thought that someday perhaps I too would find that kind of happiness. For now, I enjoyed living alone, free, independent, answerable to no one. That was enough. 2 springs later, I was in the coffee shop downstairs from my office when Chase's familiar silhouette walked in. Ethan. He was Chase's little thinner but looked well, dressed in simple casual clothes that lacked any trace of his former CEO dominance. Seeing me, he paused, then gave Chase polite nod. Serena, long time. Quite Chase while, I answered calmly. When did you get back? Last month, he said, taking the seat opposite me. My firm has Chase project here. I came to oversee it. I nodded, asking nothing more. You look great, he observed. Even more poised than before. Thank you. So do you. We chatted about inconsequential things, the atmosphere relaxed, devoid of our old tension. Suddenly he said, I want to apologize again for everything. It's behind us. I waved it off. We've grown up, haven't we? Ethan nodded. Yes, we've grown. He hesitated. Overseas, I often thought about the days we spent together. Back then I was so immature. Everyone goes through Chase's juvenile phase. I said evenly. What matters is the growth. Serena, are you seeing anyone? He asked out of the blue. I met his gaze. Chase, good friend. We're still getting to know each other. It was true. An outstanding man had recently been courting me. Nothing was official, but the feeling was promising. That's wonderful, Ethan said, genuine warmth in his eyes. He's Chase's lucky man. And you? I asked. Anyone special? Chase's close friend, he echoed my words. Also in the getting to know you stage. We smiled at each other. After all this time, we could finally speak as ordinary friends. Serena, I'm about to leave, he said, rising. If you're willing, I'd like us to be friends. I considered. If you're certain you've let go, I don't mind. I am certain. I've learned respect and appreciation. Though we can't be together, I'd like to bless you from afar. Then friends we are, I agreed. After he walked out, I sat by the window, gazing at the spring day. The sun was bright, the breeze gentle. Everything felt hopeful. I thought of the man pursuing me. Chun Yi-fun, Chase's gentle, courteous doctor who treated me with patience and never pressured me. Maybe it was time for Chase's new chapter. That night I sent him Chase's text. Free tomorrow? Let's talk about us. He replied quickly, of course. Whatever you decide, Serena, I'll respect it. That reply made me smile. Mature men understand. Respect, never force. The complete opposite of Ethan's younger self. The next evening, over Chase's quiet dinner, I told him, Yi-fun, I've thought it through. If you don't mind, let's give it Chase try. Joy flashed in his eyes, then settled into calm. Are you sure? I don't want you choosing this out of loneliness. I'm sure. I want Chase chance for both of us. He smiled, gentle light in his gaze. Then we'll take our time. No rush, let things flow naturally. At that moment, I understood peace of mind. With Yifan, I never feared public humiliation or abandonment. From the start, he saw my worth and was willing to guard it for life. 6 months later, he proposed. At the restaurant where we'd had our first date, he knelt and produced Chase's simple, elegant diamond ring. Serena, will you marry me? I promise to love and protect you for life, never let anyone hurt you. Warmth flooded me. Yes. As the ring slid onto my finger, I thought of Ethan. If he could see me now, he'd be happy for me. After all, we'd both found our happiness. I tucked the letter away and rejoined the festivities. Watching the newlyweds exchange vows, I realized that one day I too might stand in that glow. For now, I relished the single life, free, independent, owing nothing to anyone. That was enough. 2 springs later, in the cafe beneath my office, Chase's familiar figure stepped into line. Ethan. He was leaner but looked fit, wearing casual clothes that carried none of his former tycoon aura. He noticed me, hesitated, then gave Chase polite nod. Serena. Been Chase while. Chase long while. I answered evenly. When did you get back? Last month. My firm has Chase project here. I flew in to handle it. I nodded, asking nothing more. You look well, he said, studying me. More poised than ever. Thank you. So do you. We chatted about light topics, whether mutual acquaintances, no trace of our old battlefield. Out of the blue, he said, I want to apologize again for the past. It's history. We've grown up, haven't we? He exhaled. Yes. We finally grew. Chase pause. Overseas, I kept replaying our days together. I was so immature. Everyone's juvenile at some point. The key is to outgrow it. Serena, are you dating anyone? He asked suddenly. I met his gaze. Chase, good friend. We're still discovering each other. It was true, an accomplished physician had been courting me. Nothing official yet, but the feeling was promising. That's wonderful, he said, warmth in his eyes. He's Chase's lucky man. You? I asked. Anyone special? Chase close friend, he echoed, smiling. Same stage, still learning about each other. We laughed, the way old classmates laugh. He stood. If you're willing, I'd like us to be friends. I considered. If you're sure you've let go, I don't mind. I'm sure. I've learned respect and gratitude. Though we can't be Chase couple, I'd love to cheer you on from afar. Then friends we are, I said. He left, and I lingered by the window watching spring unfold. Sunlight gentle, breeze soft, the world brimming with possibility. I thought of Chun Yifan, the attentive doctor who refused to rush me. Perhaps it was time. That night I texted him, free tomorrow? Let's talk about us. His reply came fast, any time. Whatever you decide, Serena, I'll respect it. That calm assurance made me smile. Mature men understand, respect, never coerce. The next evening, over candlelight, I said, Yifan, I've decided. If you still want to, let's try together. Joy flickered across his face, then settled into quiet certainty. You're sure? I don't want you acting from loneliness. I'm sure. Let's give each other Chase chance. He reached for my hand. Then we'll take it slow, no pressure, just tomorrow after tomorrow. In that moment I tasted peace. With Yifan I'd never fear betrayal or public wounds. From day one he'd seen my worth and chosen to protect it. 6 months later he proposed. At the restaurant of our first date he knelt, producing Chase's solitaire diamond, simple, luminous. Serena, will you marry me? I promise to love and guard you all my days, never let harm reach you. Tears pricked, but my voice was steady. Yes. Sliding the ring home, I thought of Ethan, of the boy who'd needed to lose everything to learn. If he could see me now, he'd smile too. 6 months after that, on Chase's sun-drenched April afternoon, I walked down the aisle in Chase lace wedding gown. Chun Yifan waited at the altar, eyes shining. The pastor asked, Do you take this man to be your husband, to love and cherish in plenty and in want, in joy and in sorrow, as long as you both shall live? I do. My answer rang clear. We exchanged rings, sunlight catching the gold, and I caught Vivian's eye in the front row. She clapped, radiant. At the reception, she hugged me. I'm next, she whispered, cheeks flushed. But today is yours, dance until dawn. Late that night, Yifan lifted my veil in the bridal suite. Any regrets? He teased gently. None. I brushed his hair back. This is exactly where I should be. He kissed me, soft and sure. Then let's begin, page 1 of forever. I thought of every mile that had brought me here. Through heartbreak, through war, through waking up alone and choosing, again and again, to hope. Every step had been worth this quiet certainty. I was seen, I was valued, I was home. And somewhere across an ocean, I knew Ethan had learned the same lesson. Just too late for us, right on time for himself. We had all, finally, found our better endings.